All right, Leslie, the summer months, which people have finally caught on. Yes, there's no school, but believe it or not, the crowds are lower June through August for two reasons. Number one, less people go because nowadays they're like, oh, it's so hot. I don't want to go, even though my kids are out of school. But secondly, even when like the people who are there, they're in the parks less because it's so hot, right? If you and I are there in January, I guess we're a bad example, but most average families, if you're there in January or February, you can go rope drop to park close and you can probably have your kids stay out there the whole day. When it's 98 degrees out and, there are thunderstorms at 3 to 5 p.m. every day, not everyone's going to be out all the time. People are going to end up back at the hotels and taking time to rest at their hotels. So there are lower crowds, both numbers wise, but also effectively, there are lower crowds during the summer, which I think is one of the pros for going during the summer. Of course, the con, Leslie, is the reason why the crowds are lower now, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's really really hot. And I've been in June several times over the last several years, and it's really miserable in June. So you can only imagine what July and August, which are hotter months, are like. So you really have to be willing to sort of take it slow if you're going to go this time of year, because you can't, like you say, do our first march of happiness from rope drop to park close, because you will collapse from heat exhaustion, literally.
Yes, refer back to our episode on dealing with the heat at Walt Disney World because heat exhaustion is dangerous and a tough thing. Of course, there's July 4th, Independence Day. Those fireworks rival. I think the fireworks are bigger than New Year's Eve. The crowds are about the same as New Year's Eve. They do play them on the 3rd and the 4th. So those are really great fireworks that you can check out. Now, our tip for the summer, and I think everything kind of all comes together. We didn't mention this, but because of the lower crowds, it's actually a little bit cheaper in the summer nowadays sometimes than it is even in the fall, especially around some of those fall breaks. It's a little bit cheaper. There are more promos. That Disney Plus free dining promo is July 1st to September 30th. So it's like firmly in the summer. Because of all this, because of the lower crowds, because of the heat, book a longer trip, pace yourself. We always recommend building in one rest day, maybe build in two. If you're there in the summer, you're not pulling your kids out of school anyway. Take a little bit of time off yourself. Like if this is your one Disney trip for a couple years in the summer, add a day or two so that you can pace yourself.
Yeah, and you might want to consider that water parks add-on during the summertime. You can definitely sort of buy a shorter park ticket, no number of days of park ticket, and then take advantage of one of the water parks in the summer. And one thing we forgot to mention, Joe, food and wine does begin in the summer, usually like late July, early August, somewhere around there. I don't know if we have dates for 2024 yet, but that's something to keep in mind if you like your food festivals and are trying to time one of those.
Yes, and while we're spending money, summer is a great time to stay in a deluxe resort because of those storms. When you have the extended evening hours, it's cooler at night. If you're at the Magic Kingdom from 10 to midnight for extended evening hours on a Wednesday in the summer, it can be, I'm not going to say it's pleasant. It's much more pleasant than doing Magic Kingdom at 10 to 12 in the morning in the summer.